Hey guys, Rachel Maddox here. So, with all of the news from Paris and Beirut and the suicide bombings, there's a lot of talk going around about hate and love and that MLK quote. And I just keep thinking, what if it's not hate? What if it's trauma? I'm clearly obsessed with trauma right now, but I think we kind of all need to be because I really believe that we're talking about the conversation wrong. There's this deep feeling inside of our hearts, right? Which is like, please, God, don't let it be so that people could just be taken over by evil, right? That, like, the consciousness of humanity could be that gruesome that somehow we can be this evil. And I absolutely think that most of us are not. And in fact, that the only way that somebody could get to a state of doing something so horrific, obviously there could be brain chemistry imbalances. We talk about mental illness, but what if it's not mental illness? What if it's trauma? And trauma, just to restate, is a physiological threat suspended in fear, like after the threat is gone. But there have been studies of like the Holocaust, there have been genetic trauma studies, basically, where they've studied people who were in the lineage of people who went through the Holocaust. And they find that these people are carrying the trauma of their ancestors. So if we look at the Middle East, which is a place full of traumatized people on both sides, right? The Jews and the Palestinians, or the Israelis and the Palestinians, I should say. Or if we look at this epidemic of Muslim people who feel voiceless and who've been made refugees or like at the epicenter of war for generations after generations. Their reptilian brains are like never resting. Their fight or flight or freeze mode is always activated. Their nervous systems are completely shot. There's no other way. And even if they're not registering that on a cognitive level, because you don't, right? Our cognition up here, our neocortex, is going to tell us one thing, which is just like, you motherfucker, I hate you, which is your emotions. Or that's actually in your limbic brain, but your emotions and your logic on the top parts of your brain, you only actually have access to sometimes 25%, 50%, depending on how activated your reptilian brain is. So I just want us to start thinking about this conversation a little differently. We're all really depressed that somehow our emotional, like that other humans could have this emotional response, this emotional capacity to murder. But when you're in a fight, flight, or freeze response, when you're traumatized, you're capable of creating more trauma. So it's a secret spiral. It's a secret spiraling spell. And it just feels evident to me that now more than ever, we actually need this conversation to be much bigger, global. Like, we need to be talking about trauma on a global level. And we need to be resolving it as individuals in ourselves so that we understand, oh, this isn't a psychological problem. This is an ancient brain problem. So that's my thought. And of course, trauma or no trauma, it's a tragedy for sure. So I'm sending tons of love tonight to Beirut, to Paris, and to all of us who are watching and suffering from contact with our immaturity as a species.